is going on, everyone? Gilman with Live Wealthy back with our daily Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, some key support and resistance levels to look out for in the future, and based on that, what the future for Apple could look like. So really quickly, you guys have killed it with the support. If you could drop a like on the video if you enjoy them, subscribe to my channel. I try to do these pretty often, every day, as well as a weekly one, to kind of see how the week traded and then what the future could look like based on how it traded in the week or how it ended the week. And then drop a comment down below, anything related to the stock market. If you traded Apple and you made money, or if you're long on Apple, you hold shares, you hold options, I'd love to know and love to converse with you guys. So drop that down in the comment section below. But with no further delays, let's get right into it. So today, Apple was down about 48 cents, 40 basis points. Not too bad overall, considering how much we gapped down. So let's take a look at that. So we ended the day yesterday in the 121s, and then we opened 118.15, right? We gapped down decently, about $3 or so. And then we rallied right back up. I thought, with the momentum we had here, that we would fill the gap. We didn't fill the gap. We fell right back down. It was a pretty quick jump and a pretty quick drop at that point, all happening relatively quickly. And then we kind of did a lot of nothing around the VWAP, pushed up, came back down, again a lot of nothing around the VWAP, and then late into the day we pushed above, and at this point, if I were to draw like a horizontal line here, what you guys could see is this point sort of got covered, so we filled the gap, which is good, and then we came back down after that, which is not so good. So kind of based off of this, right, not a pretty looking chart. It was kind of a boring day to be watching Apple. I was trying to look for, I've talked about this in my previous videos, whether we go upward and try to break some of the previous set resistances, or if we go downward and kind of fill that gap. Let's take a look. Actually, let's take a look at some of the indexes, since we love doing that, just to kind of see how Apple was. So the Dow actually ended kind of flat. It was down 9 points, 0.03%. It's up a little after hours, so not too shabby there. S&P 0.12% down. Again, nothing really, not much of a movement. And then Nasdaq was down about 0.5%, so a little bit more of a movement there. Now, one thing that I do want to show you guys is, if we take a look at Dow, right, again, huge gap down as well, right, decent gap down. But it worked its way up to fill the gap. So if I draw it here, right, what we see is it filled that gap, right? It filled where it ended yesterday. If I do the same thing with S&P, filled the gap, right, nicely. Went up, 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 filled the gap. Nasdaq, however, did not fill the gap, which goes to show us that tech, right, which is the Nasdaq index, it's pretty tech heavy, was relatively weak to some of the other indexes. So there's that. So Apple, the fact that it sort of filled the gap, is good news. The one thing though that I was kind of hoping to see that didn't happen was the fact that we were here in the 118s. So this gap up we had was from the 117s all the way to 120. So we kind of filled I guess half the gap, a little more than half the gap. I kind of wished we had just gone down and filled the gap, so that would be kind of out of the way for us. But unfortunately we didn't, so that's something that's still there. One thing that I do like to share, as you guys know, are the indicators, which are the EMAs and the SMAs, so the exponential moving averages and then the simple moving averages. You'll be able to see the values here as I zoom in. So let's take a look. So as you can see, we've got this. Before I was making a lower high and a lower low, now we're making a higher high, higher low. It's still too early to tell what Apple is doing, right? So it was uptrending, then it took a break, then it had a really nice green candle, then we had the day after was not that great of a day. Yesterday we didn't do too much, and then today we are kind of down about 50 cents. So it's really interesting to see if Apple is taking a breather, or if now that the catalyst is done, it starts to go down again. But it's too early to tell that, so we'll keep a lookout for that. But let's take a look at this here. So what we see is the 8 EMA comes in at 119, and the 21 EMA comes in at 116.82. So that's something to keep in mind, right? 119 can act as good support. And if we were to break that, then the 21 EMA is next at 116.82. So those 2 points are where the stock could bounce off of if it were to go downward. No guarantees though, right? Like there's no guarantees it's going to bounce off of that, but just something to go off of. And then if you look at the lows for the last 2 days, it's been 119.28, 119.65, and 119.62. So the 119s is really held up, other than today where we sort of had that dipped in the 118s, but as we saw, it quickly bounced back up. So the 119, again, based on previous day's resistance and the AEMA, are points to kind of watch out for, because as the stock drops, it could bounce off of that. So the other thing that I want to show is, we were at the 118s, we hit 119s, we hit low 119s. So twice here, right? I want to talk, or let me go back to that daily chart so I could talk about the EMA. So on this candle, right, what we saw was the AEMA was coming in at, I took the EMAs out. The AEMA was coming in at 119.14, right? Now if we go back here to our chart today, the 1 day chart, and I get rid of the EMAs and I draw a line at 119.14 or around there, right? What we see is it bounced, it didn't make it quite there, but it bounced off of it twice, right? Bounced off of it right there. It did go a little bit lower to the 119s, quickly came back up, and then right there, right, it bounced off of it kind of again. So the AEMA is something to look out for, right? When I'm looking at something, and if it breaks it and it keeps going, right, as in doesn't turn back in like 5, 10, 15 minutes, breaks it without any respect, like it doesn't hesitate, then that's something to be concerned about. But today, it kind of held that, and that's kind of why I like looking at those EMAs. Now moving back and taking a look at the SMAs, right, the simple moving average lines, what we see is the 20-day is all the way down at 114. I personally don't think we visit that unless there's a lot of market weakness and we go to fill that gap and then keep falling from there. Hopefully we don't see that. I don't see that happening, at least unless there's like something related to the stimulus or coronavirus that kind of causes that in the market. And then the 50-day moving average is coming in at 116.92. Again, the 21 EMA was also in the 116s. So we've got 2 levels of support coming in the 116s and 2 levels of support coming in the 119s, and being the couple in the previous days lows, right? The point that it was unable to break, and then also the AEMA in the 119s. Again, taking a look at the 5-day chart, what I kind of want to point out is once we hit this 125 point on Monday, the high point, it's kind of been a slow trend downward, right? So if we were to just, not like a perfect trend line, but what we see is, we're making lower highs and lower lows, which isn't exactly great, right? But we have to understand that, we're just getting done with a catalyst in the Apple iPhone, also in the Amazon Prime Day, which kind of pushed tech stocks up. And now it's really based on when the stimulus comes. And as we saw, NASDAQ was a bit, weak today. So what sucks now is it's really hard to tell what Apple's about to do, because today we did a whole lot of nothing, right? We gapped down and then just kind of worked to fill the gap, but it took us the whole day to do it, which is not, great. We've faced resistance based on the previous day's highs every single day, which has also not been the greatest news. So what I think could happen, and again, I'm not saying this happens, but I think what could happen is we could gap up a little and see a Friday fade. We could open sideways or a little bit lower, and then we could test those 119s again like we did today. Now, I'm personally long on Apple. I want Apple to go up. And if we have some good news or, enough buying interest, then it will happen. But I think, short term, I wouldn't be surprised if we were to, see a little bit of a gap up and then some profit taking, or gap down and then kind of deciding what the stock wants to do. So gap down could mean a buying opportunity and then it pushes right back up, right? The one thing that I do want to say is tomorrow is the 3rd Friday of the month, which means that it's options expiration. So there could be a lot of market makers that move stuff around to make, or basically when options expire, if they have a lot of money on the line, they could make stock movements. So it could be a bit unpredictable, but I think that could be a reason we see a pop as well. So be on the lookout for that, but then, you know, kind of look out for the resistance. So we'll see some resistance in the 120, high 121s, low 122s. And then the highs of the days before could serve as resistance as well. The good news is I think we have good support in the 119s, right? So if we were to drop, we could come right back up. Now, someone asked about, you know, some positions that I currently have open, so I could share those. This is one of the put spreads that I was talking about yesterday. So it expires next Friday, right? 10/23. The current price is $1.95, which basically means I have $195 in it. I got it for $2, which means I put in $2. But since it's a put spread, the lower the value of this is, it's better for me, right? Because I sold a put. So I'm basically saying I think Apple is going to be above 121 by next Friday, or at some point between now and next Friday, a week from tomorrow, I think that I'll have an opportunity to exit this trade for a profit, right? So like I said, if we gap up a little tomorrow, it might give me an opportunity to exit this. If we were to gap down and then go up tomorrow, gives me an opportunity to exit this. So not only do I have Apple stock, I also buy stuff like this, whether that's you know, vertical put spreads or calls or puts, to kind of take advantage of the short-term volatility. So today's return was about $7 down, not great, right? Lost 3.75%. I'm still up about $5 on the trade, which isn't a lot, I understand. I would typically go in with, you know, a little bit heavier of an investment. The one thing though, right now that I've said this over and over again, the stimulus package, if they say, hey, we're not gonna negotiate this until after the election again, like Trump did a week ago, and the stock market drops again, I don't want to be caught in that sell-off, right? I don't want to be caught in that uncertainty, and so I'm playing it very safe. I'm playing a bunch of vertical put spreads, right? Apple isn't the only one I have a put spread in, but it is one of my ones. So I have this, which expires next Friday, and then I have a similar one that expires, I think, the second week of November. I don't have to hold it until next Friday, right? I can get out anytime. I could get out now for $5. I could have gotten out yesterday, right? I got this yesterday, but I could have sold it yesterday for $12, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you look at percentage, right, making 2.5% in a day or making 5-6% in a day isn't a bad investment at all. So you know, if Apple goes sideways, right, where it is right now, which is in the 120.71, if it's above 121 by next Friday, the way this works is I get full profit. If it's in between those, I need it to be, as it says here, 119 to break even. And then anything below 119, I'm sort of losing money on, but I don't have to hold it until next Friday. I could sell it at any time. But this also caps my loss. So the max I could make is this average credit I got at $2, and the max I could lose is $3, which is basically $300 because it's 100 shares that you control with options. But yeah, that's the one I currently have. I'll keep you guys updated if I take any positions or how the current positions I have, if I exited out of them, sort of my reasoning on when I entered and when I exited, as well as if I made or lost money. I'll share both, right? I sometimes have made money, I've shared those, and then I've also lost money, which I'm, you know, totally fine with sharing because you can't always predict the market 100%. You're gonna lose some and you're gonna win some. Just make sure to you know, keep your losses small, control them, set stop losses and follow them, and then the green ones you can kind of control as well and take some profits along the way. So with that, that's all I had for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm really excited to see kind of how tomorrow plays out. Today wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be in terms of getting like a future outlook of the stock, but yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another Apple update video. Hope you guys all have an amazing day so far and are staying green this week, and let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.